Welcome into the Bulldog Blitz. I'm Gerhard Mathangani, joined in by the head coach of the Anniston Bulldogs, Eddie Bullock, and coach, a big one Friday night. Got a big win over Pell City. You stepped out of the region. We talk about this all the time. We'll talk about it a little bit more today. The fact that you like stepping up in competition. This is a 6A team that came in 3-1 on the season and got a big win Friday night.
Well, it was a great momentum build. We was just looking forward to playing them, and we were able to put it together for 4 quarters and came out with a win.
Absolutely. 20-14 was the final score at home. This was a second straight game at home after being on the road to start the season for many weeks. What was it like to come back home to be able to rally from last week's game and then come back and put this one?
Well, it was a great feeling. We had to sort of redeem ourselves. Normally if you're at home and typical Anniston, if you lose a game, the fans tend to dwindle a lot. And basically, I just told the kids we need to redeem ourselves and just play the best possible football we could, let everybody know that, we were capable of, winning a game and putting something together. And we were able to do that against Pell City.
Absolutely. Cherokee County was a heartbreaker in the fact that it went to overtime. And there were spots in the game where you feel like, hey, we could have won this game. Same thing with Jacksonville last week. What was the practice week like as you head into this week? Because every now and again, those can kind of get where you have to rally the kids and get a little bit more inspiration and motivation. What was the work week like as you prepare for Friday? Well,
we actually got a little bit more physical in practice. Normally on Mondays we'll go in shells and I kind of let them work the kink side of the sword side. But I was extremely disappointed in how we just didn't perform well tackling, and we do a tackling circuit 3 days a week, and basically I just told them to strap it on for 2 days. We were going to hit. I mean, we were, wherever the chips fall, they just fall there. But we basically just got extremely physical, and it worked out for us.
Absolutely. Pell City typically is a really big football team. They're one of the biggest, most physical football teams usually in the state as far as the way their offensive line and defensive line plays. Is that what you kind of saw Friday night as well?
Well, they were big again. They wasn't quite as big as they were last year, but they were still, had us outmatched as far as size. But, we had zero excuses, and, we were going in and, we were going to match them play for play. And we basically told our guys to win the one-on-one battle. And, they stepped up and did it. We made a few mistakes, but the difference in the mistakes this week and last week was that we didn't drop our heads. We made the mistakes and we just bounced back from the mistakes.
Absolutely. I know every time that you have a win, whenever it's a team win, you're proud for the team. Was there any specific position group or maybe a side of the ball, offense, defense, special teams, where you were particularly excited about based on the way you've been playing in the previous weeks?
No, not really. I really just focus on the team because, that's one of the problems at Anniston we've had over the years since I've been there 18 years, and it's very easily to get individualized and try to get the attention on one individual or even one coach. And, I basically tell them I don't want any credit for any victories, and I'll take all the blame for the losses because, that's one of the methods I feel you have to teach the kids and how to be a team player, that it takes everybody playing together. And I think when you start singling out individuals and you place them above the team, they take that literal. And that's one of our major issues at Anniston High School.
Absolutely. But the team did get a big win, 20-14 over Pell City. We have the first half highlights coming up right here next on the Bulldog Blitz. Welcome back to the Bulldog Blitz. This is first half highlights of Anniston's home game against Pell City. Coach, first off, talk about some of the things you wanted to execute early in the game.
Well, the first thing was an initial kickoff right here. You see Lucas Thomas goes down. We wanted to pin him back, and play field position on him. And he made a great play on kickoff. And we were able to hold him 3 and out, make him punt the football. And we got the ball and we were a little bit jittery. And of course, you see here we had to punt the football. We got great field position again, great coverage, and we had them pinned back. And right there we came up on a bubble screen and we missed the tackle. And of course, I was upset on that play because we worked on tackling. all week. Again, you know, that was one of our point of emphasis, and we just missed the tackle, and you know, we came out, and right here you can see us come up. Great play by the cornerback closing in and making that tackle. And right here you can see us. We got the running back pin the backfield, and that's our practice drill right there. Wrap up, driving back 5 yards, and you know, we made that happen. And of course, right here it was fourth and about 4 yards, and we yelled out the fake, told them watch the fake, and we knew it was coming, and we just didn't play sound defense. Made a mistake, and they ended up getting the first down, and we come right back and we hold them for 4 yards. Right here, you can see we had the guy double covered the receiver, and we called that out, and we let him catch the ball, and then of course right there you can see the outside linebacker Demetrius Green. We broke his protocol, went inside instead of staying outside, and they were able to score. And it's ironic, on that particular series, we made 3 mistakes, and those 3 mistakes allowed them to get in the end zone. And, of course, right here we got a good return by Jamari West, and you know, we stalled on that drive, and our punt game has been great. We punted the football. Hill City muffed it, and we were able to recover it. So we got the ball right back to the offense, and I believe right here we ended up punching it in. That's Tyrone Stoddard. He's running the ball extremely hard, and we came back, and Savion, our quarterback, was able to punch it in. He actually scored twice in the first, and we got it called back, and we just ran the same play again, and he was able to punch it in. And we went in at halftime down 7-6.
7-6 your score right there. Going into the halftime, and first off, Coach, we always talk about how big all 3 phases of the game are: offense, defense, and special teams. But it seemed like for both teams, special teams kind of led to good offense and defense. Whether it was the fake punt that kept the drive alive, where you said that there was 3 plays back to back that led to their touchdown, right, and then a heads-up play by your punt coverage unit that got the ball. That ended up being the leading score to them. How big was special teams for you guys?
Special teams has been a big part of our team this year. You know, we've had trouble only in the PAT part of it, and it's just confidence with the kicker, kicking the ball. And actually, Friday night, we made 2 PATs. On the first one, I elected to go for 2 out of the swinging gate because we've had so much trouble throughout the year kicking the ball, and we failed out. But you know, overall, the special team's been doing a fantastic job.
Absolutely. 7-6 was your score at halftime. Were there any things that maybe you saw on film that were a little bit different from what they saw, and vice versa? Did you do anything different than what you normally have done over the last few weeks?
No, that wasn't anything different. The only thing that we seen was they had number 22. I don't know the kid's name, but he played running back for them. And in the 2 previous games, he hadn't played. He got hurt in the Southside game, and you know, when I talked to Coach Etheridge, he told me that was his best running back. So I kind of started scratching my head a little bit. But other than that, they didn't do anything that we hadn't seen. You know, I was very upset at the defense because the touchdown that Pell City did score, it was a result of us, you know, blowing 3 back-to-back assignments, and you know, good teams capitalize on that.
Absolutely. We talk about the defense. What was your message to the offense as you went into the second half? Because the offense, you could tell, they were moving the football, and they were able to get the touchdown there in the second part of the second quarter. What was your message to the offense at halftime?
Well, I told the offense to keep moving the football. I told them just keep doing what they were doing, and they will put up points. But you know, I promised them in the locker room that the defense would play better because you know we were just a disappointment. Even though they'd only scored 1 touchdown, you know, they shouldn't have had 0 points at that point, you know, if we'd have played solid football. And, you know, I promised them that the defense would do their part. They would step up and do their part.
Absolutely. Whenever you take a game like this, whenever it is a 6A opponent, is the first half, as far as the way you call plays or the way you script plays, is it a little bit different from what you would normally do in a region game when it quote-unquote counts a little bit more as far as the playoffs go? Or is it just the opponent is the opponent and you treat it the same way either way?
I treat them all the same. I mean, a football game is a football game, and we go out to win each game. And, you know, I try to teach my players that consistency is the most important thing. You know, you know, if you can play consistent, you're more likely to win the close games, you know, versus playing inconsistent. And I think that's been a problem of ours over the years is, you know, not playing consistent, and that's why we win some close games, we lose some close games, and I don't worry about the blowouts either way, because that's normally an indication of one team just really being a lot better than the other team. But the consistency is what wins the close games.
Absolutely. As far as adjustments go, did you want to do anything different in that second half than you did in the first?
No adjustments. The basic thing that I told them was that we were going to do what we had done in practice. And I basically told the guys it's a waste of practice if you go out and we scheme on film and then we tell them what we need to do, and then we get out on the football field and we can't apply it, you know. So my basic halftime adjustment was application. Take what we do in practice to the football field. Just take what we do to the football field and we'll be fine.
Absolutely. Coming up next here on the Bulldog Blitz, we will have second half highlights. You'll see how Anderson closed out a very, very good Pell City team, came out with a big win at home. But before then, take a listen to the Anderson High School Marching Band from their performance Friday night. Pell City 7, Anderson 6 going into the third quarter. Coach, as you take a look here at the second half highlights, talk about some of the things you wanted to see early on.
Well, I just wanted to see us execute a little bit more. You know, Pell City deferred in the first half, and they wanted the football. They wanted the football, and so we received the football as a result of the second half. And in the third quarter, just time of possession right here, you could see if we just controlling the football. We basically kind of kept them on defense pretty much the entire third quarter. So I'm just glad we were moving the football, and you know, we were pounding it in. We was mixing up the run and the pass. And right there, you see the screen pass to Jamari West. You know, great pass. And we just moving the football down, and we threw a jump ball right here to K.O. Neal, and he made a great catch. Got his foot down in the end zone, and we were able to take the lead right here. That was a go-ahead touchdown, and of course we converted the PAT. And right here you can see us. We got a great pick right here by Darren Park. He made an interception, and you know, right after we had kicked off to him, and you know, we were looking to punch this football in right here, and of course see the workhorse right there, J.B. Carlisle. He ran the ball hard all night, and right here we threw an ill-advised pass. Right here we had a screen call, and they snipped out the screen. Quarterback should have thrown the ball away, and we were able to stop them from scoring a touchdown right there. But they came up eventually 2 plays later, and they punched it in. And you know, we kind of gave them a little gimme right there, and they converted the PAT and went ahead. And you know, I challenged the offense again. We just got to play through that adversity and punch the ball in, and we got another big drive right here. You see the quarterback, Savion Bethune, he made a great run there, and of course we ran a toss right there to JB, and you see a zone read right here. He runs the ball hard. He's just a sophomore, and he got some great years ahead of him. He ran the ball extremely well, and right here you see we went to K.O. Neal again. K.O. Neal is a tough cover, you know, 6'2" receiver, and he's able to make things happen. Right here, Tyreek Carmichael made a talented play. We put him at quarterback and ran a bootleg, and you know, Savion made a great read right there. You know, we were able to punch it in again. Right here, now we play with a lot of passion. And of course we kicked the PAT, went through again, and that's one of the areas we've been having trouble in. And we were able to go ahead, and right there you can see it's only a minute 35 seconds left to go in the third quarter. And, we come right back, and Demetrius Brand made a great interception, carrying the vertical route up the seams. And you know, we've been working on that in practice. And once again, you know, we wanted to punch the football in right here. We had great field position, and you know, you want to follow those turnovers with touchdowns. You want to try to get some points out of those turnovers. And you know, we were able to move the football, but you know, the drive stalled a little bit. You know, we got in the red zone, but the drive stalled, and we ended up turning the football over on downs. And we came back and they started on the drive. They started running the wildcat and running up the middle because the linebackers were running out of the gaps. And quick adjustment there was I put the defensive tackles in 3 techniques, and I started blitzing the linebackers in the A gap, and we were able to shut it down. So, we came out with a victory, 20-14.
Absolutely. Put it on ice there, 20-14, your final score. What was one of the things that you were the most impressed by in the second half? And I know we talk about execution, but it seemed like in the second half, especially both sides of the football, offensively, whether it was K. O'Neal or whether it was J.B. Carlisle that had some tough runs, Jamari had a nice play, Savion, two great reads that turned into touchdowns. What was one of the most things that you were impressed by there in the second half?
Well, just how the team gutted it out, how they stepped up. Both sides of the football stepped up, and I was extremely impressed with us facing adversity but not dropping our heads. The offense, just the one mistake kind of got us in a bind where Savion threw a screen pass that he probably should have thrown the ball away, but he tried to force it in. And, other than that, you put the defense back in a bind. They run the ball down to the 3 or 2 yard line. So you put the defense back in a bind. But, we came right back out after that drive and scored. So I was proud of how both sides of the football stepped up.
It was 7-6 at halftime, and then it was almost like when 2 heavyweight fighters go at it, where it was one punch and another, one punch and another. What was the mentality like? Because it was one of those 20-14 games where it really could have gone either way, but the defense stepped up when it had to, and the offense stepped up when it had to.
Well, our plan was to put them away. We had situations where we got in the red zone, we got within 6 yard line maybe, and we turned the ball over on downs. That was a missed opportunity. And then, of course, we threw that pick. So we didn't look at it as if, it could have went either way. We were looking at the missed opportunities that we had to put them away. And that's what I stressed on the sideline. When you got a team down, you have to learn to put them away because that momentum can swing on one play. And as you see, we were up 13-7, and we made one bad decision, and as a result, we were down 14-13, just that quick. And so that one play outweighed all the good play that we had done, so we had to fight back.
Absolutely. Anybody who looks at the box score will see Savion had 2 rushing touchdowns and a passing touchdown. K. O'Neal had a great day. J.B. Carlisle had a great day as well. Was there anybody that you saw on film that maybe like an unsung hero, somebody who stepped up and played pretty well Friday night?
Well, not really. Just just a team effort.
Sure.
We had a team effort. I think the offense played well as a whole, and I think the defense played well as a whole. And we trying to, like I said, get them to the point to where they understand that everybody's role, no matter how small it is important to the team's success.
Absolutely. And the team came up with a big win Friday night, going back into region play coming up this Friday night against White Plains. We will break that game down coming up next here on the Bulldog Blitz. Welcome back to the Bulldog Blitz, final segment here, and we'll now jump ahead into week 6 now. Coach, you go from playing a really good 6A team, going back now into region competition as far as the mentality goes, the mindset goes. What is this game like going to White Plains?
Well, we know it's going to be a tough game. White Plains have not won a game, and their record is not indicative of the team again. And one of the points of emphasis this week is to make sure that we don't look at White Plains' record, that we look at the team and we go out and execute and do the things that we need to do because, we have a great shot at finishing pretty high in the region, and it's going to be up to us. We control our own destiny.
Listening to other coaches in this region, yourself included, talking about the other teams in the region, it seems like everybody is improved, that teams are not the same teams that they were last year, including yourself, and other coaches have said that about the Anniston team as well. What are some of the things you've seen on White Plains? Some of the things even if just looking at the scores, from their improvement from last year?
Well, they just playing with a lot more confidence. Last year they, had a couple of players that stood out, and then everybody else was basically subpar. But this year, with those guys having experience under their belts, they playing at a little bit higher level than what they did last year, and the scores indicated. They've had a couple of opportunities where they played region teams, and they've actually been ahead of them. And you know, I know how that works because I've been on that side of the coin also. You know, you can play well and you can know what your team have, but if you're not winning, they'll tend to drop down or, you know, tend to drop the head. So, you know, White Plains may be at that point, but, you know, we can't depend on that. We got to focus on what we need to do to, you know, play a solid game.
Absolutely. Is this one of those games where people talk about having faceless opponents and nameless opponents where you want to play the best for you and you want to play your style of football no matter who the competition is on the other side? Is this one of those perfect games where whether a team is 5-0 or 0-5 coming into that game?
Right. That's exactly what you have to do. You can't look at the team, the name of the team or the record. You have to go in and play your brand of football. And that's what I'm trying to emphasize to my team is we need to go in and have a great week of preparation, and then we need to go down there because anytime you play at another team's home field, you know, that's a task within itself, and you got to overcome that. But the good teams can block out everything and go in and do what they need to do. And, you know, we're going to be in for a dogfight. But I think we at the point now with this win behind us, with, you know, beating Pell City, I think we at the point now to where we're capable of going on the road and, you know, getting the job done.
We always talk about rallying the troops after maybe like a hard loss and being able to pick their spirits back up. And I'm sure the same challenges kind of present itself on the opposite side of the schedule whenever you are trying to rally your team after a big win and making sure that they go out and do the things that they need to do for the next week.
Well, you know, I told the guys to enjoy the win the rest of Saturday night, enjoy it a little bit Sunday. When we come in to watch film on Sunday afternoon, that, you know, the celebration is over with. That game is done, and, you know, it really doesn't matter, you know, except for bragging rights and, you know, helping you momentum-wise. But what really matters is, you know, the next 3 or 4 games that we have in the region. That's what's most important, and, you know, we can basically, you know, write our own story, you know, if we do what we need to do.
What the old saying is confidence breeds more confidence. How far and how big was this win Friday night as it relates to the way the rest of your season can play out?
Well, it's great at this point. If you remember last year, at this particular time last year, we were winless. We didn't have a win.
That's right.
And we were going in, and we just wanted to win. I mean, we were desperate. We wanted to win and kind of get ourselves in some kind of situation where we have some glimmer of a hope for going to playoffs. And even though we only had 3 region losses, we still had an opportunity. You know, teams that won four games last year went to the playoffs, and you know, that's what we were fighting for. But this year, you know, with us having 2 wins, you know, plus the Jamboree behind us, you know, we in a much better situation than we were confidence-wise, and you know, we just looking forward to taking on the challenge and moving ahead.
One of the things that is really good because of the fact that you play up in competition in these games, whether it's a Sylacauga or Pell City, is when you get the wins, it really helps out in case there are tiebreakers at the end of the year. How big is that? And I don't want to forecast too far, but just in case there are tiebreakers, the fact that you schedule them, number one, is big on your part and big on Anderson's part as a whole. But then 2, to get those wins in case there are tiebreakers at the end. Well,
it plays directly in our hands because, you know, with the way our region is, you still have a lot of tough matchups, you know. And I even though Sachs is undefeated right now, Sachs could very easily have 2 losses by the time that, you know, the final region standings are out. And you know, just say we only have 2 losses and, you know, we tied with Sachs, then we would have them head-to-head. But if there's a 3-way tie, then you go to non-region competition, and we would immediately be bumped up because of playing non-region, you know, larger schools and winning. So, you know, that's part of the strategy behind it. But the main point of emphasis is the fact that, you know, I'm not scared to play anybody. You know, I play any team, you know, and if my team ever develops that, you know, we're going to be a force to be reckoned with because, you know, it's a mindset, you know.
Absolutely. Coach, you got a good one Friday night against Pell City. Congratulations on the win. Go out to Robertson Field at White Plains. Anderson will take on White Plains as they go back into region play. We'll break it all down next week right here on the Bulldog Blitz.